Good morning, London. How's it going? Okay, so I just jumped out of the shower quickly, as you can see. I have no time to dry my hair, so it will dry during the session. I don't really mind if you guys don't mind. It's been a bit of a hectic morning, but we're here. Who cares, right? Here we go. Okay, coffee, most important, and let's get into the charts. Sound is good. Okay, we've got rain and bad weather, so I'm hoping the internet won't cause any problems. But let's get into the chart straight away because I have not had the time to do that. And very eager to start getting into it. Yesterday was quite interesting. I didn't get back on because it was sort of like very high resistance going upwards. It was very clear that it would go upwards for a while. I did trade it a little bit, but not something I would do on stream. It's a little bit different than I normally do, but still made a little bit of money back from my two losses in, was it the pre-market session, morning session? Yeah. But let's have a look what's going on, because today is Thursday, and mostly that's my worst day of the week, an NFP week, Thursday. So I'm always very vigilant on a day like this. Now, and we know that everything's closed, right? Now let's have a look. Okay, this is the breaker I highlighted yesterday. It did not retest it, but it did go up, right? So I'm expecting still a breaker retest in that area, so I'm leaving that on. So I'm leaving this one on. This was yesterday's breaker. Let me go to the 5 minutes, a little bit better, a little bit lower time frame. We'll do higher time frame on the other side, but yeah. So this was the top yesterday, right? At just before 3, it just tapped into the 1/3 level, and then it went to the downside, and it did not go back up. And I guess that's got a lot of people taken by surprise as well. So as you can see here, let me go back to the 15. It did not make a high, right? So it just stopped right here. So it did not go higher in the opening range gap. So that's very telling, right? So if it goes back up, we know, okay, then we can definitely target the 0.5, the opening range gap. If not, this is just a rejection block, and we're going to go down for the rest of the week. But we'll get it. We'll get more information soon, so we can frame the bias a little bit better. Because now we have a Wednesday. Where's Monday? Tuesday. Okay, we still have a Tuesday low. Okay, that's okay. We still have a Tuesday low for the weekly profiles. I'll get into the weekly profiles a little bit later. It's Thursday today, right? Yeah. Okay. TGIF levels are getting important now as well. So a lot to go over. Yeah, let me get back to the 5 minute here. Now it's already, we have a new 4-hour candle. I'll get into gold as well. I want to see the 4-hour candle quickly. Okay, so now we are in this large N walk again. This was the wick that I was looking for yesterday to be retested, but now we are going below it already. So let me just mark this one here. If we go below the 25%, we're definitely bearish. This is not a rejection block anymore. This becomes liquidity, and then we can aim to this fair value gap, and let's see if we can get lower here. What time is it? We're in a macro right now. Okay, so you can see we have a 4-hour continuation candle now, right? So we can expect if we go below this level, this will be liquidity. So then we can target 619, but we have to get below. We have to see what happens at 642-ish. 642, where are we now? Yeah, so that's around here. And then obviously we still have this breaker. So I'm still not convinced because this breaker hasn't been unmitigated since yesterday, right? So I really Even though I know a lot of people are considering this is going to be very bearish. This is a tricky area here. 617. This one 642 where we are right now. And then be careful when we touch the breaker. I think we're going to get a reaction there, and then maybe if we're still bearish, we could enter a new, because I can't enter here, but if we get a nice retest here, we might get another opportunity if this 4-hour candle is going to continue to the downside, and then we have our liquidity. Oh no, hold on guys, I'm wrong. See, I'm not. The liquidity is above the breaker. So I think if you're on a short, who's in a short? If we are going to go down, the breaker is below this area, so nice. And then we have this unmitigated opening range gap below us as well. Okay, I'm bearish. Yes, definitely bearish for now, but we need the right time to enter. Enough liquidity, enough. 4-hour candle is continuation candle. We've got a lot of unmitigated areas here. I like it. Let's see. Hey, Krupanshu, how are you doing? How's it going, my friend? How is it going? So bearish on NQ for now, but I can't enter here because I'm a little bit late to the party. This would have been the entry right over here at 2:30, right? But again, the price action is not, I mean, I don't like the way it's moving too much, but we'll see. I'll go to the 1 minute here. Okay, that's that. Who took that long yesterday? Did anyone manage to benefit from that long? It was not an easy trade, but there were opportunities to trade it. I just made like about $250, or no, what is it? $150. I was up at 250, and then I gave back a little bit on the last move, so I was still up about 200, I think, on my evaluation. What are we doing? Okay, 0.5. Okay. So yeah, definitely short on NQ for the time being. I think I think we can stay in a short for 617. 617 is good. Yeah, we'll get some reaction at 617, obviously, and then a little bit lower. Yeah, so if you're in, it's pretty obvious. We're in a down close candle on the 4-hour, so for the time being. So I would think the macro will give you a downward until 10 past 3, you're good to go. Yeah, just let it run down. I can't enter, I'm too late to the party, but just gonna watch how price is behaving, and it'll give me a lot of information. Then I'll have a quick look at gold as well. I just want to open my account just in case there is a I'm still eating, guys. It's a little bit chaotic this morning. But hey. So the 3 a.m. is not moving very fast. We're going to get our first percent fair value gap very soon. So that'll give us some more information as well. Okay, that's done. Good morning. I am Giannis Uyonu. I'm still short. What is the best TP? 25,600. Well, like I said, we are in a bearish candle, but I will be careful with this breaker. So that's 594-ish. So you're good with your 25,600 because that breaker was the breaker I was actually aiming yesterday for. Let me go to the 5-minute again. I do think we're going to get a retest there. Hold on. You see this breaker here? So yesterday we passed through it at 10. We did not go any lower. We did not retest it. So you want to see a retest of this area. So even though we might go lower, we will be retested here. That's plausible. But let me see. What else do I have? I think there might be a reaction at 617 as well. So be careful if you see it. The liquidity is at 617. That's your safe spot, and that breaker is a little bit lower. But you see the liquidity there is 617. So if on days like this, Thursday on NFP week, those are my worst days because price is just very manipulated and waiting for the NFP news on Friday, right? That's why ICT says get out on Wednesday after 11 and just don't trade until Friday. I always thought, that doesn't account for me. But I lost most of my accounts that I lost was on this day. My stats always tell. So I will be careful at 617. Just watch how it reacts there. That's the low of the liquidity of the sell side liquidity. But then again, the breaker is a little bit lower. So let's see. We might get a wick below 617, right? So and it'll do have SMT. Okay. So be vigilant. If you have two contracts on, I would take one off at 617 and let the runner run maybe. But if you have one on, I myself on a day like this, and we watch time, right? We're gonna watch. Let's watch how time is behaving. What time is it? 5 past. So the macro runs from quarter-2 to quarter past, or 10 to 10 past, right? But you just want to see what time do we get in this area. We could also reject from here. You see this is a wick, right? So what could happen especially on days like this? If we are here and it doesn't move fast below this level and it's about 8 past and it just hangs around this area, I would already get in midpoint of the wick. But then again, you see we've got lower liquidity here. Let's see. I think you're good. Let's see how you still have a few more minutes. As long as it keeps on moving and we're in this macro time, you don't have to get out yet. But when it gets to 7 or 8 past and it starts stalling and does specific weird things, then you have to get vigilant a little bit. So let's watch. And also with these levels, right, 600, those are levels that people know. So it sort of like never gets there in one way because there are very psychological levels. So you also have to be careful for that because they know that retail uses those levels, those whole levels, the 20, the 40, 60, 80 levels, they're psychological level, and exactly the 600. So that's why I'm thinking, see, it's very slow, right? It doesn't go in one line. So let's see. Now, I want to measure this one. I want to know the midpoint of this gap. Just want to see if it goes, if this is a rejection block for now before it goes down. I might take it out in the next. Let's see how if it uses this wick. There we go. No, I don't like this. This is that behavior on this day. It created equal lows. Did not even go into that wick, but it's still it's 8 past. So I would exit here if I were you. To be honest, I don't like this price action, but it could still go. You might have to wait to 330, 340. It might go lower. So you see today, like on days like this, the Thursday of the NFP week, always you cannot trust what is normally what you go by normally. It did it even sooner, not even at 8 past. But hey, the macro is still running. I don't know where you got in, by the way, so I don't know where your stop loss is and how much you drawdown you can take. But what time did we start running? 250 to the downside. 246. Okay, you see this guy? I just want to point something out. So 246, you got the first down close candle. Look where it went up. 6 past 3. So it started like in this time. I'm just talking about the macros, how algorithmically you sometimes can frame what the behavior is. So the first down close candle after upward move is here at 6. So we do say like the macro, even though it starts 10:2 to 10 past, right? But sometimes it's 1/4 to 1/4 past. So if you have a specific move, like in this example, we get like it goes into a fair value gap and then the macro to the downside starts. So technically it starts 4 minutes early. And you see what happens here, it stops 4 minutes early, right? So I just want you guys to start noticing it and journal these things. Look at it like, okay, what time did the macro start? What time did it go? Now it could still go down, but I don't know if you want to be, I don't want to be in this price section because for me it's like, okay, like how far are we going to go up? Because this is all engineered liquidity here. You know, is it going to do the next macro? Are we going to do the 330 move? Because they know these psychological levels, people are aiming for them and they make it very, very hard to get there. So now we've got equal lows, and that means for me, in my journaling, it tells me if we make an equal low in a macro, it will take at least half an hour to an hour to go back down to it. So I don't expect it to take it down in this macro anymore, even though you can extend it, but I don't, you know, it's not every time, but during my journaling, and I'm very deep, I go very deep in these things with macros and time, and I used to write down all the time swing lows were made and stuff like that. So when I see this happen, most of the time it takes at least half an hour to an hour before this created low will be taken out again. So, but hey, who knows, it doesn't now. But it doesn't look like it, right? And the macro is over, so we might go back to the upside. Let me know what you did. Hey Satoshi Stacker, how are you? Yeah, I know everything is on. I know the government shut down, but I'm just saying. But you know, I think they still use the behavior and the manipulation. Like you know, new scanners are only used to create new swing highs and lows and to take out larger pieces of liquidity or create some other thing. So I do believe the algo is still sort of like programmed as it is. So even though there's no NFP, we still have to be vigilant when there's news candles, because it's just manipulation, and it doesn't really matter what the news is, right? They do whatever they need to do anyway to balance out things or to create a new situation. For example, sometimes we take out more highs and lows to create a range so they can consolidate again in a range, right? Things like that. So it's just manipulation. But I do think from last NFP, it was again Thursday, was not my day. So I'm just still treating it the same, but I'm aware, yeah. But yesterday was actually a good move, right? It was a nice extension day. Yeah, so I just, for me, it's like it's just about manipulation and the algo, and it's news or no news. It's still it just uses those news candles, and that's why they're always at 8:30 most of the time. Some are at 10 o'clock, right? So 8:30 is a very important time algorithmically. Technically, the algo knows already what it wants to do at midnight when that's the algorithmic open of the day, but the news candles override everything. So that's why they decide, okay, they do look what the news, if there's more geopolitical stuff, and then they use that. But they're all algorithmic levels. It's just maybe one standard deviation, 1.61, higher or lower, or 2 or whatever, or sometimes 4 or 5, right? They're all algorithmic. So let me see. Today we don't, and normally we had news on Thursday as well, right? But we don't have anything today. And guys, yesterday they created an equal high again on NQ. I don't. Have you noticed that? Oh, today only speakers. Yeah. Only speakers from 11. Anything in GBP? Okay, and then tomorrow, yeah. It's just manipulation, and you can see it here already, right? How annoying this is. So normally when I love my rejection block, so I play the reject. So that means I do the wicks a lot. For me, that is. But then it didn't even go into the wick. So it's not even. It just created a reaction here, not even in it, in a macro. So that's pretty annoying, right? Well, let's see. We still have. Let's see if they use an extended macro now. So that tells me a lot about the time. If they would go now and do it now at 16 past, because everything is with 6 now, right? Here it started at. Oh no, I'm on the 5-minute. Never mind. But and obviously we also have to use the gradients of the N walk. So. Well, this already gives me this price action tells me already to be vigilant, to be careful. I am Yanis. Did you get out? Did you manage to take profit? I still do think that we're going to get a break or retest or that 617 now, especially because we did not go. We might go again 1 point low and then maybe in that rejection block and again go up. That's a possibility. So it's going to be very back and forth maybe, but maybe it just goes through it now. Let me see. Let me have a look at gold quickly, guys. Any gold traders here? Oh, you are finally okay. Yeah. So like, for example, when I talk about wicks, this is a good example, right? I was I can't remember the date. I said, well, if we get a rejection here, I would take a long, but I don't like this area. But I said, if we do reject here, and this line here, this is a 50% of an IPTA range that I calculated like way back. But yesterday I noticed, I thought, oh, I have to recalculate it. But I thought, no, look how beautifully the candles are actually bouncing. So we are in discount here, and now you see we're going up. We're in this 4-hour inversion fair value gap. And I said, I don't want to trade this. I don't want to be in this higher time frame consolidation. I really wanted to see it break out of this range. But I did say if we get a proper retest in a rejection block, so let me show you guys what I mean. So that here, now here you can see it, that it properly, it bounced exactly off the 25%, and then it made its way up. Well, on the lower time frame, obviously you look for your breaker or for your inversion fair value gap, blah blah blah. But that is, for me, that would have been an entry for me. But it was Asia. I sleep then. I wish I wouldn't sleep in Asia, because now all the good trades are in Asia. I said I would like to trade along, and I then have to maybe go back into this range, but then I am more confident that it will take out these highs here. But also be vigilant here, because there are wicks and they can be a rejection block before they are liquidity, right? So this would have been a trade that I would have been interested in. But then again, I just want to wait. I prefer it to take out this liquidity and really make a solid close above this 4-hour inversion, because that would give me more confidence to play gold. Because it could go back into consolidation here, right? This is this 4-hour box. It's just been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And even though it's out of this box here, it's still in this whole range, right? This is the whole range that's been created. So it could just reverse here back into the range, back into the N walk. So I am not interested in gold, even though it made a nice move just now. I might have been when I saw this happen. What time is this? That's around here. I'm looking at this. I still don't like it, to be honest. Look at this. Where do you get in? Yeah, you got your breaker. There's no breaker retest properly. No. Well, this was the retest here, 145. This here, but that's a bearish PD array for a no, still not interested. But it does go into an N walk here. Oh, daily open. Yeah, well, this is actually a nice trade there. 142. But where do you frame it off? I mean, there's nothing I can really frame it off. So waiting for gold just to see, let this play out. Yes, it's a nice move, but I don't see structure. I don't see anything. Yeah, look here. This is your breaker. Or we can go to the lower time. Let's go to the 15. Let's see. Most likely there's not even SMT. Let's see. Yeah, see, there's no breaker and no retest, nothing. No retest of time, but not properly done either. No. So yeah, gold is a little bit. I don't like it too. Oh, look at that. We're going now. So we're using the 320 move, right? 320 to 340 is also like a macro. It's more of a run. It doesn't take out the liquidity all the time, but it's more like it takes like miles. And what are you doing? I'm just observing. I'm just collecting data to see how price is behaving, to make sure that I don't want to lose any money. If maybe makes a fair value gap 15 minutes and IFEG 5 minutes and 1 minute, I'm looking, but maybe New York. You mean to go further down or to go back up? I think you mean to go to further to the downside, right? Hey, but listen, the 4-hour candle is definitely, I would say, bearish. Look, oh, hold on. Did I say? Let's have a look at the 4-hour. I have to do some higher time frame analysis. Okay, see, we are below 25% of this wick, so that's interesting. So that means we're really bearish. We can trust that now. Let's see if this is any. Let's see, we stole right over here. Okay, 75. Yeah, okay. I do think we are going to have one more stop. I think we're going to have a stop in this little. So let me show you guys in this little wick here. I think we're going to somewhere between this level. We might have one more move to the down. So this is what you guys call when it's just engineering liquidity, back and forth, back and forth. But those wicks also give you a lot of information. Wicks are not always bad. And as you just see, I noticed this is the 5 minute, right? And I went here on the 4 hour and I used this premium wick to see if there's any. And what do you see here? If I go here, it matches exactly with that 5 minute rejection block. So wicks are nothing different than they just encapsulate imbalances. And what does time do? What the algo does, the only thing that algo does is balances out imbalances or take liquidity. So if you see a wick like this is just a bunch of imbalances. So you have to find the imbalances. Now, if I'm in this area, I found that it matches exactly that 5 minute rejection block. And a rejection block is also an imbalance, right? And why does it reject in a wick? Because it's balancing out an imbalance. If I go in the lower time frame, the lower you go, because it's all fractal, right? You'll see it. So that's how I use the higher time frame. So now I know, okay, this is a valid imbalance, which most likely will still be used because it's a 4 hour. It's encapsulated in a 4 hour wick, and it's moving its way through that wick to the downside. And the only thing it does, it slowly balances out every imbalance that it finds inside of it. So the more wicks you have, the more imbalances it encapsulates. So that's, I think, what they mean with bodies tell the story and wicks do the damage. But I love wicks because they give me a lot of guidance. So like, I'm not expecting this to be any liquidity time soon. I'm not, okay, we're creating equal lows. Yes, we'll take them out, but are we going to go lower, or are we going to use this maybe as well as a point of one other resistance to go up again? No, it will not be definitely a change in state of delivery, but just a retracement, a little bit up to go down again. So that's how I use wicks a lot in my analysis. You'll see me grading, and then this is how I find, okay, this is a point of significance. Then, even though this wick is here, it doesn't matter, and there's bodies going through it, they're still valid. I don't know who saw the last few videos of ICT. I mean, it's gold. It is gold, really. Those premium and discount wicks. So I'm sort of forward testing it a little bit to see which wick do I use when and how does it. So I'm still journaling it a lot because sometimes I find out, okay, I should have used that wick instead of that wick. But hey, it gives a lot of information. I'm telling you. Do we have SMT? I'm not entering any trade without SMT. And if I do, you guys have to call me out on it. Because that means I'm having FOMO or I'm impatient. Because I am sometimes. I have a patient problem. I'm working on it, but I'm doing very well, I think. But I still have that. Yes. Is my hair getting a little bit drier? Yeah. I didn't even have time to dry my hair. Ooh, I have a new subscriber. Thank you. I appreciate that. We just have to wait, guys. We just have to wait. Let's see if we can go over something else. What is interesting? Let me have a look. But even time, I'm starting to really appreciate times like this as well because it tells me a lot about price action, and I really